Welcome back to another episode of the Sensing Self podcast. Not sure if you know this, but this week we have Earth Day on April 22nd. So happy Earth Day, depending on when you're listening to this. Earth Day is a day when we celebrate being on this planet and do our best to honor and protect it. What a time to be alive. Today's topic actually links back to the earth and nature quite a bit, so I'm kind of excited about that. And I want you to get curious because we are going to circle back to nature in a way you probably won't expect. And no, I'm not going to be talking about the earth's vibration or anything like that. Today, we are going to be talking about why empaths have anxiety. I'm going to be real, honest, and unfiltered. I'll give you tips on what actually helps and what doesn't, plus why nature and your environment play a big part in how you feel. So if you're the type of person who feels anxious in big crowds, knows energy sticks to you after you go out in public, and craves silence, stillness, and time in nature to recharge, this one's for you. I'm sharing this as a person who has been battling anxiety for many years, and here's where I'm going to need you to listen closely, okay? Because for years, I was a love and light spiritualist. I believed the power of positivity could heal all wounds, but life humbled me, and when a dark cloud got pulled over my head, positivity alone wasn't what saved me, to be honest. So if you're living your life thinking that you can just change your thoughts and be better, today's episode is probably not for you because there's a real reason why people who feel a lot get anxiety. It's rooted in neuroscience and in the way we perceive the world around us. And if you believe positive thinking alone can fix everything, this episode might shake things up for you. But I'm not speaking from ideas and dreams here. I'm speaking from experience. So if you're ready for that, let's dive in. I'm going to start things out by saying this. There have been many of you who have messaged me things like, why do I feel so on edge all the time? Why do I have so much anxiety or anger in me? Why do I always feel like I don't have the energy that I used to? Those of you who have been sending me these questions are wise and intuitive. You know that this is not all in your head, and you are sensing a change in yourself, and you want to know why this is happening, what it means, and how to feel better. I totally get that, and I've definitely been there. Here's the thing that you need to hear right now. Your anxiety might not be a mental health problem. It might be an environmental problem. The energy and emotions you feel on the inside might be a result of what is happening on the outside. You, as an empath, are picking up on the room around you, then thinking what you feel inside is a result of you and who you are, but it's not. So, if you're feeling edgy, anxious, or even angry, maybe you need to stop asking, what's wrong with me, and start asking, what's off in my environment? This is especially true for many women listening over the age of 32. There is something that happens when you start moving through different life phases, and it activates and strengthens your intuition. Your instincts are sharper, your inner messages are louder. This is when you feel instantly calm, when you go in nature and you get quiet. It's when you're out in nature that you're able to tune out the noise and tune in to the real you, the true you. Then your anxiety settles, your anger softens. There's a reason for that. If crowds drain you, noise overwhelms you, and silence feels like medicine, there is a scientific reason for that. And I am noticing that people are becoming overstimulated a lot more quickly than they ever did before. So please just know this, you are not the only one. My theory behind this is that we as humans are deeply connected. Just like the birds that all know how and when to fly south for the winter, we are connected to one another through invisible networks. We send each other signals all the time, and some of you listening are getting really good at picking up on those signals. You just need to sort out what is actually coming from the people in your environment and what is actually yours. Because sometimes your anxiety is a signal. And when you understand how these signals work and how they are connected to your brain and body, it starts to make sense. I go deep into all of this inside the Sensing Self program. This is my 12-week training that teaches those of you who feel a lot how to use your sensitivity as a leadership skill. If you want to learn more about it, click on the link in the show notes. But to simplify it for you, here's the process. Number 1, something happens outside of you. Number 2, you sense it using your sensory networks. Number 3, this sends signals to your brain. And number 4, your brain tells your body how to react. An example would be, say someone slams a door. Then you hear the slam with your ears. You might even feel the vibration in your body. And then your brain categorizes that sound as dangerous or not. And then finally, your body might flinch or jump in protection. That's the normal human experience. But in someone who is highly sensory, meaning they feel very deeply, it can look a little different. Here's an example many of you encounter on a daily basis without even realizing it. Let's say someone in your house or workplace has a headache. You pick up on their signal of pain. Then your brain starts working to make sense of that sensation. But wires get crossed because it's not your head that hurts, it's theirs. And then your body gets confused and you feel anxious. This kind of thing can happen with physical symptoms, thoughts, emotions, or tension in the environment. If you are really good at feeling the world around you, you will pick up on these things. Your brain's job is to make meaning of what you feel. The root of the word mind is meaning. The brain wants to operate like this: sensation, signal, interpretation, story, action. And in order to interpret the signal, create a story around it, and take the required action, the typical mind wants to make the sensation about itself. That's the ego. But beyond that, there is something else happening. You have a system doing its job. You just need to get your brain on board with it. Empaths don't have anxiety because they're too sensitive. They have anxiety because their nervous system is doing its job. It's essentially telling you, hey, we are picking up on something here. What should we do with it? It's kind of like an airplane pilot with a radar system. If your radar picks up on bad weather, you want to be the calm pilot who says, no problem, we have the navigation to fly right through that. But a lot of you right now, what your current system is doing is saying, oh my God, there's bad weather. Guess that means I'm bad. Another example is a radio signal. If you were listening to a radio station and it was playing your favorite song, then suddenly there was static, you would make an adjustment to hear the signal more clearly. You wouldn't think that there was something wrong with you or something wrong with the song. And I'm telling you this today because it is time for you to make sense of what you feel. It's time for you to understand that not everything you feel is your own. And when you hold on to what is not yours, despite your best intentions, the untrained mind will try to make that feeling about you. But a lot of the time, it's not about you at all. It's about your environment. For those of you listening to this episode, this is the moment where you start to see things differently, or at least I hope, because I had one of those moments in my life too. And it's why I had such a burning desire to create this episode. When I see questions come into my email and messaging inbox that are saying things like, why am I so edgy? Why am I so anxious? All I can think is, it's not you. You are not the problem. You're not the one who is edgy and anxious. Those feelings are a byproduct of your environment, which means the people around you and the settings that you are in. As an empath, you need to stop seeing yourself the way that you see everyone else. Your entire system works like a channel. It gives you information all the time, and your job is to determine what to do with that information. I want you to take a second right now and imagine what life could look like if you stopped asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? People like you who are used to taking care of everyone around them have this natural tendency to think everything is their fault or their responsibility. But what if this is the moment that you had an epiphany and realized it's just information? What you feel and what you sense is neutral information. It's not your job to hold or complete the charge. Like I said, you're like a channel. Imagine yourself as a part of an electrical circuit. You're not the source, you're not the power switch, you're the conduit. Your job is to feel what you feel, use it as information without making it about you, then let it flow and let it go. Anxiety happens when you hold the charge. When you think it's your job to ground everything, you feel on edge. And I want you to realize something. When you go out into nature alone, those feelings disappear, right? That's because in that moment, you let it go. Your signals aren't bouncing off the other people around you. And out in nature, you're just connected to you. When you learn how to do this in any room, around any group of people, that's when your anxiety starts to change. It has less power over you, and you may even feel gratitude for it in a strange way, because you realize it's just a signal. Now listen, I know that you tuned into today's episode for a reason. Either you needed to hear this right now or someone you know needs to. If it's the latter, please send this episode to the person who needs to hear it. And if you take away anything from today's episode, let it be this. If you're an empath and you have anxiety, it's because your system is trying to tell you something about your environment. When you start seeing your anxiety as a signal, you can start to make sense of what you feel. And when you learn how to feel more of you and less of everyone else, you start to realize that you are not the problem. Your anxiety doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. If anything, it tells you that your system has a radar that might be more finely tuned than you realize. And that's actually a gift in my eyes. And I hope it becomes one in yours too. You can truly start to use your ability to sense and feel things so deeply as a massive advantage in your life. I'm telling you, it's like a secret sidekick that you didn't know you had. If you want to learn how to use your sensitivity as a skill and lead with clarity, I want you to seriously consider joining the Sensing Self program. One of my students this week said, being in real estate, clients are often very emotional, and I had been absorbing so much of their energy. This program is really allowing me to continue doing my work without costing me so much of my mental health. Inside the Sensing Self, I teach you the leadership skills required as an empath to protect your energy and truly use your ability to feel deeply as a massive advantage. If that sounds like something you need, make sure you check out the link in the show notes or send me a message over on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening today, and I'll catch you back here next time on another episode of the Sensing Self podcast.